Well, good evening and welcome to this edition of the Island Stats Football Show. I'm your host, Earl Baston. Joining me is co-host Garrett Punchy Dill. Well, Punchy, we've had the FA Challenge Cup semi-finals take place this past week, and now we have Premier and First Division football that has taken place over the last 2 days. Let's run down the results in the FA Cup semi-finals. It was Devonshire Cougars 1, Norfolk Rams 3, Hamilton Parish 3, St. George's Colts 5, and that was after extra time. And then in the Premier Division, it was Paget Lions 1, PHC Zebras 1, Dandy Town Hornets 1, Crossroads 1, Dunland Social Club 0, North Village Rams 5, Hamilton Parish 3, Somerset Trojans 3. In the First Division, it was Devonshire Colts 3, Wolves 1, Somerset Eagles 3, Southampton Rangers 3, and Robin Hood 3, Vasco 0. Well, Punchy, let's jump right into those FA Cup semi-finals first, because midweek we saw on Wednesday night up at the PHC Stadium, the North Village Rams really controlled things against the Devonshire Cougars and came away 3-1 winners. That first half, both teams shared a goal, but North Village really dominated most of that first half. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, they had a slow start though, Earl. There was a slow start by North Village. For the first 10 or 15 minutes, Cougars, D'Amico Cottington was caused quite a bit of problems on the right hand side. But after the fall and then North Village ran ahead, I thought that we're gonna be in control of control of this game. But once they did go ahead, once they did take the penalty, and then even though Cougars came back, I still think that North Village were in control of that game. You know.
Yeah.
Um, what was so significant about that is that Norwich is a lot of the players come back have there's an injury free, and he's Kenny has decided to play. There's some with Troy Tucker coming in on the midfield, which was
Right.
very He's having a guy like him, having a player like a midfielder like Troy, brings a lot of class. His quality shines through. And then they've also added Jai Bean. Jai Bean come back from school, playing on front now. And Jai's been also helpful also in terms of his hold up play, his ability to play, bring other players into the game. And he scored a good goal too.
Yeah.
So, but it looked like after the game, when even after 1-1, Norfolk looked like they were in control of the game. And you thought, well, it's only a matter of time that they would score the second goal. And that was, I think Norfolk right now must be looking at the fact that even considering the result today against Social Club, considering the fact like they look really good, they look strong in all departments. Uh, so that's going to be, that's going to be some FA Cup final. I do believe that.
Sure, sure. I mean, when you look at the form that North Village are in right now, I was quite impressed, especially the second half. You're right. Jai Bean and Troy Tucker actually bring a new dimension to the team, an added dimension to the team that makes them that much more classier. Um, Troy's ability to find players, ability to hold the ball up or go fast when they need to go fast. It was it's just one of those things where he himself can turn a game around with the way he plays and added in Jai Bean that Hannah he took in the second half
Yeah.
really knocked Devonshire Cougars offside
Hmm.
and Village ran 1-2 win. Let's turn our attention to that second semifinal because
Oh,
3-3 after full time at Devonshire Recreation Club on the Thursday night between St. George's and Hamilton Parish. These two teams have had battles no matter what division they played in. And then, St. George's get those two late goals in extra time. First, the penalty from Jonte, and then Blaze Hall scoring I would say against the run of the play because um, Hamilton Parish had thrown everything else back at them to try and get that equalizer, left themselves exposed at the back, and St. George's were able to get that fifth one. But the two teams battle in that regulation time. I think both coaches would have been disappointed giving up 3 goals, but pleased that they scored 3 goals and if somebody played.
Yeah, that was I was, that was a very, very interesting game. I thought at the beginning, I thought Hamilton Parish would definitely the better team for long periods of the first half.
Yeah.
Definitely. If they were more clinical, I think they could have been in at 2-0 up in the first half.
Right.
But what a good, the goals that were scored, some very good goals, some very good goals. But I was very impressed with Hamilton Parish and what they brought to their game. And I said, well, they controlled quite a bit of the first half. What happened is, as the game wore on, you just, St. George's never say die. Some good goals that were scored also, and by St. George's. But the thing about what it is that the first, as we all know, this will be the first FA Cup final. But I got to give Hamilton Parish the due, and St. George's for providing a very entertaining game.
Very, very much so. I mean, anyone that would have been at Daventry Recreation Club, it was fitting of a final. That semifinal was fitting of a final because both teams threw everything at each other, to try and advance to the final. Hamilton Parish would have been looking to get back to a final against the team that beat them the last time they were in the FA Cup final, the North Village Rams, and St. George's Coast were looking to reach their first FA Cup final. And I think the occasion that day is going to be special for both teams as North Village look to defend their title and St. George's look to dethrone them and win their first ever FA Cup title.
Yeah, right. That's gonna be, let's talk now, huh? That's really the talk. I mean, I think if you're looking at on the North Village side of it, right? They won today, they're in a chance. So I know they're up for this FA Cup. They really are. And being in now the predicament that they are for the league, it makes it even more so. And it's gonna be interesting again. The final itself. But going back to St. George's and Parish, like I said, Parish, when it was 3-2, I'm saying like this game over? And that free kick and the goal that was scored, late in that, I was like, whoa. But what I did notice a lot about Parish is they start to tire afterwards. And the finishing wasn't, again, they allowed St. George to come back to the team. And St. George's were really, they showed a lot of grit. They showed a lot of grit, and it was some well-taken goals.
Yeah.
And so, I just think that we're in for a very good final, a FA Cup final. And what I do like about what's happened at Parish, which I hope it continues, and at St. George, you see both teams are trying to play very good, attractive football.
Right.
And like I said, with the players that they have. And I haven't watched Parish a lot this season, but I was very impressed with their game that night in the FA semifinals against St. George's. Very impressed with how they played.
Yeah, I was really surprised, and I'm glad you said Hamilton Parish started to tire. You realize they only made one substitute in the entire game?
I believe that's right. Yeah.
Which sometimes you got to trust fresh legs. I think Sergio felt he had his best 11 out there, and they made the one sub. But as the match wore on, the tired legs couldn't do what you was asking them to do, and I think that's where St. George's got that extra energy because they made their subs, and their subs made a little difference because those fresh legs were able to track back, defend, and help to push forward.
Oh yeah, with John Tay coming on, and John Tay was like he really put in a shift when he came on. He made a difference, and then Andrews, Jawande Bascom, all added up. He was a little bit. He looked a little bit like he's a little bit nursing an injury. He didn't look at himself.
Right.
But yeah, being on those fresh legs, and you're talking about Jonte and Durande, it's going to make a difference.
Mhm.
But again, with Parrish, like I said, they just ran out of steam. They were pulling up cramp, and then Sergio was probably looking around. So who's he going to put on?
Right.
My thing about all of that is with again, when we talk about with teams like Parrish, where do they go from here? Putting
Mhm.
such a good display. Other than need more recruitment for next year. They're safe in terms of they're not going to be relegated, but
Right.
with such a good showing and what they're trying to do at Paris, which I do like. Again, I can put they're a good community team. Um, would there be a big disappointment for them? I think so, but I'm always looking at the fact, where do you go from here for Hamilton Parish?
Definitely. Definitely. Well, let's turn our attention to yesterday because um, it everything was on the line for the league leaders, PHC Zebras, the defending Premier Division champions, taking on their rivals, their next door neighbors in Paget. Paget wanted to be spoilers. Paget wants to be the team that everybody says derailed PHC in winning the title, and they were 1 minute away from doing that. They were leading 1-0, but PHC got a last minute penalty to draw 1-1. Paget it's almost like whenever we play rivalries, the team that is kind of behind, um, it always seems to step up. Um, your thoughts on just Paget being able to draw with PAC and actually somewhat derail or push their title hopes on the line?
Yeah, I was to most of the game yesterday. Especially, I caught about quite a bit of the game yesterday. Of course, it's a rivalry. Of course, but and PH were down for what with 10 men. They were down 1 man, 10 men for like what 35, 35 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, and I thought that what Paget has is the enthusiasm, the rivalry, yes. But I thought they didn't do the right things, in especially top third with with having a man advantage. At times, you got with Mr. Rollins, and they played the double strikers yesterday. But I
Right.
thought that a lot of times the final pass didn't get there. And I thought that's what Paget were lacking yesterday. With P, I just thought that if they would have got that right yesterday, they could have easily went out and won that game about a good 3 or 4-1. If they in the last third, if they weren't good enough, I didn't see a lot of. I don't think they were good enough in making good decisions in the last third.
Yeah, that's been one of Paget's things all season. When they started off the season, those balls were going in the net. Towards the middle and the second half of the season, they've just been off just slightly, and I think it comes down to experience.
Right, Earl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they will they'll gain these lessons this season. Next season, if they put themselves in that position, I think those end up in the back of the net, and they're a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, Mr. Rollins, who's quick, like he looks a little bit like he's for a while the legs were giving out, but he put in a good shift too. He's one of those. He reminds me of Lukaku. Left-footed. He puts his shift in, but if you're gonna play with a person like that, with a person, you've got to. He holds the ball up well. If you can do the right things, getting the ball to him from wide position so he can score just use him effectively.
Right.
And I just hope that Paget can build on this year. And again, I always try to encourage whenever I speak to Paget supporters or the Paget president, and just saying, you guys, you got a young team, you're growing. Let this be a learning curve for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. They really put on the show yesterday. They really did.
Sure.
Yeah.
They wouldn't impress their neighbors and let them know that there's a new sheriff in town.
Yeah, but you know what was so impressive about him, even though the mistakes were made and you can see they were applauding one another, I think that was a good, they have a good bond there. So if they can keep that up, I think, they're good for next year.
Sure. Well, we're going to take our first commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk Dandytown and Crossroads last night. That actually the result saw Crossroads relegated to the first division. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
Better Than Bouillon is an oft-featured organic food producer who believe that great recipes begin with great ingredients. This judiciously named brand is aimed directly at the primary stages of meal preparation in the kitchen, replacing traditional bouillon cubes and the like with bases made from organically produced meat and vegetables, resulting in a higher level of purity and a more robust flavor. This month we're featuring Better Than Bouillon organic bases, made with roasted beef or chicken or seasoned vegetables. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
How you doing? It's Coach Bascom here. Listen, I just want to introduce, to let you know that, guess what? Oh yeah, I've been endorsing salt. Now, you know what this is for, right? Yep. Smelly shoes. You know, those days that you're coming back from training, sneakers. Yep. You start, you're sitting them in your house, you got them in your room, and you got them in your closet, and you're getting that smell come through. Well, this is what it's for. Excited about it, excited to promote because I believe in it, because I know when I was playing outdoors especially, this is definitely what I needed. Hey, even look at the packaging. Very, very professional company, done on so much work, yeah, with the material, with the bag. Listen, I'm excited about it. Glad to be a partner with them. Glad to be endorsing this product, yeah. And here we go. Get your bag.
And welcome back. Well, last night at BAA Field, Crossroads and the Dandytown Hornets drew 1-1. The result, unfortunately, would send Crossroads down to the first division as they cannot, with the games remaining, catch Young Men's Social Club in the standings to overtake them. We've been looking at Crossroads all season, Punchy. 1 win in the league, 4 draws, 7 total points. They've scored 18 goals, and most of those goals have been scored by one person in Donovan Thompson, who has come on of late and scored goals. But over the last few years, we've been talking about Crossroads keep making the great escape, and luck was about to run out, and it has run out this time around as they go down with a draw with Dandytown Hornets. But looking at Dandytown, still undefeated under Coach Scott Morton since Morton took over. They've got a few wins in our draw. Things have got to be looking up at St. John's Road. But what happens to Crossroads now? What do you think happens to Crossroads now? What do you think happens with a coach like Gumbo?
Good. Yeah, good question, Earl. Good question. I've had, talked to, I have a few, I know some people that actually played, they're associated with Crossroads. And the word is, I'm not sure if Gumbo is going to stay. I'm not sure if he's going to stay. His first year in charge of a team like that. And it's sad that, I know Gumbo is gung-ho about coaching and what he tries to achieve. I just think that they don't have a whole lot of of talent. I don't think I can. Let me just. I'm not being so critical like that, but I think what Gumbo has to work with and what he wants to do, that's been his problem. They've had injuries too. Don't forget that they've had injury problem.
Yeah.
So that's one thing about them. Where do they go from here? You know, it's questionable because is Donovan Thompson going to be lured away from be lured away, which I think he should try. He should go somewhere else and play. Depends on what his connection is with that club, you know. But I just think that they have a junior program. I was talking about that. They have a good youth program that, you know, they're also, like I said, just like they're a good, they are really trying. But I think what's happened with AMRL is that they need recruitment.
Right.
They need better players.
Yes.
And having just a good center forward is not always going to be your way out. It's not going to keep winning your games.
Right.
And that's where the problem is going to lie. That's where you know, I know if they go down, if they stay together, they'll be right back up.
Right.
They will be.
Yeah.
Considering who they're going to play against.
Right.
Down in that division. But will Donovan Thompson move on? That is something that a lot of people is being discussed.
Yeah. He's tried other clubs before. It's just that his style of football kind of, the strength is with him with Crossroads. I think because he's such a good poacher of sorts, he takes chances. You know, other teams try to build the game, and I don't know if he's patient enough in those build-ups, because I've seen him when he went. I think he went to Parish. I think he went to St. George's, and it just did not work because teams are trying to build the ball, and it didn't suit his style of football, and he struggled with the girls on the other side. But the minute he goes back to Crossroads, it seems to work in his favor. So I think he needs to take some time and think about what he wants to accomplish. If he wants to help a team that is stuck with him, with Crossroads, stay there, help groom some youngsters, get them back into the Premier Division, and see what happens after that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I think he plus, you know, he's getting older too, so he probably wants, you know, he's getting older, so does he still want those challenges?
Yeah.
You know, so, but speaking about Gumbo, will he stay there? I mean, Gumbo could probably get a job in the, you know, in the Premier Division. He might, you know, he can get a job up there. That's for sure.
Right.
Will he stay there? I'm not too sure I'm not too sure that Gumbo will want to do that.
Right.
The opportunities will be there for him.
But there's an opportunity for him in the First Division to get the players that he needs and get into a system, a formation that when they do, and if they do come back, they'll be even better and stronger. So to build something down in the First Division is probably something that he would want to be able to show other clubs, especially Premier Division clubs, who will need a coach down the road, that he can build something that will be worthwhile and sustainable.
Well, yeah, I just know they go back down when they're going down. You know, they've been demoted, so they will win. You know, they will come up next year. Again, will he stay? Questions will be asked. So I'm sure other teams will be looking out to hire him.
Sure.
Yeah, he'll be asked. Yeah.
And I mean, if you look at the Dundee Town Hornets, I mean, they've really bounced back. As far as performance wise, they find themselves in seventh place with 20 points. There was a time we were talking about that, you know, they were battling that relegation zone, but we're on 20 points. Safe to say they're okay. They're tied with Hamilton Parish, who have 20, and St. George's, who are underway at get underway in a few minutes at Devonshire Recreation Club against Devonshire Cougars. So you know St. George's can move off of 20 and move up to 23 or 21, and if they end up losing, they stay on 20 points. So, but Dundee Town Hornets have kind of got a second life here. does Scott Morton stay on? If he stays on, what happens to that team?
Mhm.
More players come back. Do these players leave? What happens to Dennytown?
Yeah, that's good. You know, what you're gonna get with Morty in charge. You're definitely gonna get something very constructive, very organized. I was really surprised about their result. You know, considering what they've done the last two or three games.
Yeah.
So, wow, it's like, oh, did the old habits show up again? I don't think so. I just thought that maybe at Crossroads put in a good shift, you know, in that game. But again, getting back to Dennytown, you're also too. You're talking about older aging players too. You know,
Yes.
you are talking about that, and what would happen with them? You know, Dennytown is also a recruiting club too. You know, they're gonna go out and get players. So and they'll be attracted to that team because it's you know what it stands for, just like Norfolk is a youthful team.
Right.
But I know if Morty stays on, they're gonna be for next year. They're gonna be, you know, they're gonna be in hunt for a lot for some trophies.
They'll be much
And
better,
Morty's just not the person that's
because he likes organization. Just like Dankins, he likes organization, but Biff Scott's reputation, I think, is a little more football sense from around a certain group of players. Dankins can say the same thing as Scott, but because it's coming from Scott, it's a little different. So Dennytown's been through. What's this? The third coach in 2 years. I mean, they had Jay Bean, who was an inspiration to him before he became the head coach, and then when he became the head coach, everybody looked at it differently, and then players lost confidence, and they brought in Dankins, and they ended up doing well under him, but now his philosophy or his way of getting his message across wasn't the way that the players wanted it. Got rid of him, and now they have Scott Morton. So let's see what happens over the summer with Dennytown, and if Morty stays, if Morty goes, then what do they do? What do they do? Do they go and get a gumbo? Do they go and get somebody from within the organization? Because they've already remember they had Kwame.
Yeah, that's what the heck I made. But there's also a name that we haven't talked about is Sequoia Robinson. Will he take over that?
Sure.
Will he take that role as the coach at Dennytown? So again, like I said, you're talking about Sequoia. You look at the age at Dennytown. Dante, I don't know if he's playing that much, but what I saw, even when the Norfolk is playing London, they still look very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
They look very solid. They look organized. But where did Dennytown go from here if Scott decides this is, I'm just doing this on one-off on, that would be very interesting also. Who's going to coach there? And then again, repeating what you said, well, Gumbo, if they ask Gumbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then we turn our attention to today. Somerset Trojans stayed in the hunt to survive. They ended up with a 3-3 draw with Hamilton Parish down at Wellington Oval. The point moves Somerset on to 12, and we'll get to that Young Men's Social Club result. They stayed on 15. When we look at what Somerset's got to do to survive here, it's going to be a challenge, but they've given themselves that lifeline.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They sure have, but that result there, the 3-3, it kind of shows what type of team did Hamilton Parish show up with,
Yeah.
But Somerset, I was discussing it with some people today also about the West End, Somerset's always, the last couple of years, have always been there. Whereas, are they going to stay up? Or are they going down? But it's they just about make it. Again, what would happen with them if they do remain in the league? If they do stay up? Because here's another team. If they go down with Crossroads, then Somerset's going to be back up the next year for sure.
Right.
For sure. The thing is, what do they do now? And if they do survive, right? What will they do? Where are they going to go with? We keep having this conversation. We have this conversation about Somerset the last couple of years. They can win a trophy, and then when it comes to the league, it's not the same. They don't travel well, that's for sure, especially when it comes to the league. They don't travel well.
The unfortunate thing for them is the remainder of their games this season are on the road. Because they've played all they played all their home games.
Right.
So
that's right.
The challenge for them gets even harder because they're on the road away from home. And they would be pleased with the result today. I mean, they probably wanted 3 points. They scored late in the game to make it 3-all. But, a point's better than none. That kept them in the race. But last week we were talking, and I remember saying it. My fear for a team like Hamilton Parish was if they lost the FA semi-final, what do they do for the remainder of the season? Because they're safe now. Do they continue to show up and show out? I guess your question today was who showed up for Parish?
What's the future for Hamilton Parish? That's a good question, Earl. That's a good question in terms of the players' dedication, in terms of commitment. That's a good community club.
Yes.
And it's just a good coach. Sergio's really grown as a coach, and in terms of his philosophy, but does he have the players' personnel that they're gonna like Norfolk, like the PHC's institution of football? Because Parish at one time was cricket club too. Am I correct?
Yes.
They had a good cricket program. I don't know if that still exists.
No.
But they have a good junior program. But really, what bothers me about them, can they get better? Will they get better? And I think Sergio's on a good job there thus far.
Right.
But I'm still saying about the playing personnel at Hamilton Parish. What do the players want? What are their dedication to what's happening at St. George's to start thinking about building a good football institution with a good coach?
Yeah. Well, let's take our second commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk that North Village Social Club match that sent North Village to the top of the table. We'll be right back.
Better Than Bouillon is an oft-featured organic food producer who believe that great recipes begin with great ingredients. This judiciously named brand is aimed directly at the primary stages of meal preparation in the kitchen, replacing traditional bouillon cubes and the like with bases made from organically produced meat and vegetables, resulting in a higher level of purity and a more robust flavor. This month we're featuring Better Than Bouillon organic bases, made with roasted beef or chicken or seasoned vegetables. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
How you doing? It's Coach Bascom here. Listen, I just want to introduce, to let you know that, guess what? Oh yeah, I've been endorsing Salt. Now, you know what this is for, right? Yep. Smelly shoes. Those days that you're coming back from training, sneakers. Yep. You start, you're sitting them in your house, you got them in your room, and you got them in your closet, and you're getting that smell come through. Well, this is what it's for. Excited about it, excited to promote because I believe in it, because I know when I was playing outdoors especially, this is definitely what I needed. Hey, even look at the packaging. Very, very professional company, done on so much work, with the material, with the bag. Listen, I'm excited about it. Glad to be a partner with them. Glad to be endorsing this product. Yeah. And here we go. Get your bag.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
And welcome back. Well, Punchy, the North Village Rams would have taken note of what took place at Southampton Oval yesterday, where PHC drew 1-1 with Paget Lions and opened the door for them to take the lead in the Premier Division. And they did so in some style, because they scored early and often in the first half to take total control of this match against Young Men Social Club, eventually running away 5-0 winners. But what does Kenny need to do to make sure that this team now stays focused and stays to the task? Because when you're chasing, it's one thing, but when you're in the front, it's a little different pressure. We've seen PHC buckle 2 weeks in a row to pressure.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think when it's in North Village against Cougars and how they went about that game, and today when I watched the game, they came out really lively. I think they really lively against Social Club. The first half they were 3-0 up, and it could have been more goals. I think Kenny, there's not no injuries. Everybody's going. You can't talk about a lot of the important players that are not, they're not injured, which is a good thing to be in this time of the season with these important games coming up, especially one coming up on Saturday.
Yeah.
The first half, it wasn't the best conditions to play in up at Police Field, because that's a difficult field to play on anyway. I played up there in my time, and the winds and the rain. And it's a wider field, a shorter field. So they conducted themselves good in the first half. I wasn't too impressed in the second half.
Right.
They got a little bit nonchalant. They got a little bit sloppy at times. I'm sure Kenny would have a talk with them, because I saw them. They had like a meeting on the field even after the game. But what it did show today, that they're serious about what they want to achieve. And I'm sure Kenny's preaching that. And if you don't play well, we want a result. And, Social Club played with 10 men for 35 minutes. And North Village at that time, I think they only scored 2 goals.
2 goals, yes, that's right.
Yeah, only 2 goals. So at times the game, then, it looked a little bit like, North Village weren't really playing at their best. And then he made some substitutions. And, of course, that happens when you know that you're in front, to save those players for the game that's come up on Saturday. But all in all, North Village looked very, commanding.
Yeah.
Didn't play all that well in certain spurts of the game, but they still look like, they're in control of the game. Mm-hmm. Definitely. And, Jalen Harvey keeps popping up, scoring these goals. Yeah, he just keeps popping up, scoring these goals. But, again, North Village looked in control of the game. You just knew it was only a matter of time that it would be like how many?
Yeah.
Once it was 3-0 up. But I know the coach will be disappointed in the last 20 minutes of the game and their productivity and the way they went about the game. They're a little bit sloppy.
Sure. Well, let's turn our attention to the first division, because Devonshire Colts keep marching on. 15 games, 15 wins. They defeated Wolves 3-1 at Police Field. Dent in Wolves looking to go up. They find themselves in 3rd place behind Robin Hood. But Devonshire Colts, we've got to say, we've been seeing it all season. Very impressive in the division. Have dominated each game. Scored 66 goals, given up 17 goals. 45 points from their 15 games. Basically unstoppable. They've already booked their ticket up. It's just waiting for the end of the season to present them the trophy. But a team like Wolves, who now have 24 points, just behind Robin Hood. It's one of those things. Robin Hood actually would have moved on to 28 today with their 3-0 win. But Devonshire Colts.
Yeah. Hello?
Devonshire Colts.
Yeah, Devonshire Colts. To keep, I guess, like Ray's problem would have been to keep them focused for the last couple of games that's involved, But I'm sure that result today is also the hard work they're putting in with Devonshire Colts. But I don't want to go too far ahead, but I'm sure with Ray, he's still making sure in the back of the minds, let's put in a good shift. What we got left, let's show some respect for the league that we're playing in terms of, playing well,
Yes.
getting the right results. I'm sure he's already talking about planning for next year.
Sure.
I might be going to, I'm sure about that.
I do
that-
recall, and I'm going to remind him of his statement to me and probably to others. This
Yes.
will be his last season. So now, with all the success and doing what he's done with these youngsters, does he stay on another year? Does he stay on 2 more years? What does he do?
Yeah, that's that's a very good question. He's already made this statement that he's going to be moving on.
Yes.
Yeah, and well, who would take over if he decides to move on? But we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't see him moving on yet. I don't see him. He's working with these guys for the last couple of years. He's happy, what he's bringing through. I'm sure Ray would like to see himself pitted against every Sunday afternoon, the likes of PHC, the Padgetts. So, which would be good for him in terms of, what his coaching ability. So, his coaching knowledge against these guys. So, I don't see him leaving. I think he's going to give another year, Earl.
Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about that Robin Hood Vasco match. Robin Hood coming to the game knowing that they need to keep winning in order to get promoted. And they did so today. They defeated Vasco 3-0. Ironically, their leading goal scorer, Clay Dow, did not score today. I'm not sure if he played, but, when you have players in your team that have been leading your front line and they don't score on a day that you win 3-0, when pressure's on, because pressure is on, because they know they can't slip up. Wolves basically for a second year in a row found themselves in a position to get promoted and have kind of stumbled.
Yeah, Wolves getting to Wolves it was the early part of the season that hurt Wolves.
Yes.
It's the early part of the season that hurt Wolves. There's losses. I think they lost to Vasco. I think they lost to Vasco. Yes, they did. That's right. So those points that they've lost now is coming back to haunt them.
Sure.
I think they've left it a little too late.
Mm-hmm.
Getting to Robin Hood now, it's again they look like they're going to be promoted.
Right.
I will bet my wages on that. But where did they go? Again, another question too. Clay Dow.
Players, that's for sure. That the team that they have they'll give a good account of themselves, but they'll struggle week in and week out in the Premier Division.
That's right.
They need to go and recruit some players.
They need to go and
recruit players from.
Exactly. Right, Earl. Where are they going to get players from? They might have to go over Donovan Thompson, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
But they need to recruit players. And I was saying, and I keep saying this all the time, on a Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon at 3:00, Robin Hood had to go down and play against St. George's or Hamilton Parish,
right,
or North Village or PHC on a Saturday afternoon. And that ain't going to be easy.
No.
That will not be easy at all. And so just like, and I know Peg's going to stay up. So, what I am saying is that if the two teams that are coming up,
yes,
we're looking at a real good what's going to happen next year, which is going to be interesting too. So now you're going to do Robin Hood's playing against Padgett. You're going to have, if Social Club do remain up, you're going to have Social Club playing against Davison Coach.
Yeah.
So, this is going to be interesting for those teams. The top four are going to remain up there. North Villages, the PHCs, St. George's, I'm adding to that list now.
Yeah.
Right. So,
right.
And Cougars. So you still got the four top teams that are going to be in contention for the league and other trophies. But what was going to happen to those other teams? And what I saw of Social Club today, Social Club would need to recruit also.
Yes.
They definitely need to recruit. if they're
Yes.
going to remain in this division. If they manage to stay up on a Sunday afternoon next year, they're going to play against Paget, which is going to be tough, and then they got to play against the likes of Devonshire Colts and this with Robin Hood. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's a food for thought in terms of what will happen with those type of teams. Paris
Right.
are going to be safe. I think Paris are going to be safe if they get a few more players.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Before we get to the final first division game, we have an update from Devonshire Recreation Club. It is Devonshire Cougars 1, St. George's Colts 0. Early in the match at the Rec, the final Premier Division match of the weekend. The final first division match saw Somerset Eagles draw 3-3 with Southampton Rangers. Both teams, neither team really playing for anything. Rangers are pretty much out of that promotion, that second spot promotion, just looking to climb the table. Somerset Eagles looking to finish as high as they possibly can. I think they're safe now. They'll finish in 7th place. They have 15 points thus far. So, those two teams just played out to a 3-3 draw. Pretty much, just finishing off the season.
Yeah, Earl. As like I said, there's no consequences for people, with Somerset Eagles and other teams. They can't get demoted. Imagine if they
Right.
were good, like I said, so if we, Joe Ma's up there.
Yes.
And it depends on, again, what he's got to work with.
Right.
The mentality up there. And
Yeah.
how long have they been in that division now?
So,
Yeah.
quite some time. I mean, they did get promoted some years ago, and then they came back down.
Yeah.
But they've kind of been in that division for quite some time. So
Exactly, Earl. And we keep talking about the West End. I had a discussion with some people today again.
Yeah.
If we go past the PHC, those West End teams are not doing well. We got to look at what's going on wrong there. So again, there's no consequences. Imagine if they were to demote it. Imagine if they go down and play every Saturday afternoon against commercial league teams. If there were, if there was something that they had to demote it to, they would have to shape up.
Yeah, definitely.
But so they will remain that way. In terms of they will just have a team out. And that's how I feel about, I just think that they're just to show up.
Right.
With Joe Ma being there, I wonder what Joe Ma's going to do. Joe Ma's going to do. What's the youth program? Why would Joe Ma stay there?
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, why would Joe Ma stay there? Because there are going to be other jobs available to him.
Yeah, we're coming to that part of the season where all these questions will soon be answered because, when we go to the end of the season, negotiations, contracts, all that stuff starts to be talked about. What was, did they meet their objective for the season? What was the objective for the season for a team like Somerset Eagles, for a team like Southampton Rangers?
Yeah.
They brought on, remember, Southampton Rangers brought on Keith Jennings. I happened to be at I saw the second half of this particular game, and I could hear Rangers supporters begging for Keith to come on when the score was, 3-0. And I'm like, okay, you want the coach to come on and bail you out. What's wrong with the players on the field?
Oh, yep. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. If you got somebody like Keith, who's, when Keith gets involved with something, he's about winning.
Yes.
But Keith is old now. Keith is up in his 40s. It's getting into his, where's the recruitment?
Yeah.
I mean, I noticed a few players. Elliot Jennings' son plays there. Pretty good. Not bad at all. He was with North Village, but we decided to move on with Southampton Rangers. But, Earl, in all honesty, we're talking about these teams that don't have no consequences for when they just remain where they are. What are they going to do? And let's say, for instance, who can Keith recruit to go to another level for Southampton Rangers? Who will he recruit?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, first of all, they have to decide whether or not he's going to stay. And then what does he bring? Who does he bring? Who does he bring with him?
Yes.
Because I think he took the job, late in the season after the transfer and everything. So having an influence of who he can get to come with him would have been a challenge of late. But now that he's in the position, it opens the door up for him to speak to a few players, players that are on the fringe of whatever team they're on, and influence them to come and play under him. And he builds his resume as well, because homegrown North Village player as well, and he probably is looking at that North Village job down the road at some point, like any other former North Village player that is coaching.
Yeah, right. But yeah, very true, Earl. Very true. But again, when you're coming from an institution like North Village, and I keep saying that institutions that are built, they're not just all of a sudden to show up and just say, oh, North Village is an institution just like PHCs and the Cougars.
Yes.
And of course Dendytown also. But what's interesting is that you got the coaches in that division. You're talking about Keith Jennings, Jomar Wilkerson, Gumbo, right? There's three those coaches, right? What will happen next year? What's going to happen? Because then if Gumbo is going to be down there also, so is Gumbo going to stay there? But you're thinking, well, will those three coaches move on?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's going to be, and I think, why not? Why not? Yeah, from where Joe Mark stood years ago with Dennytown, what he accomplished, this is Gumbo's first thing as senior coaching. So what are they going to be? And interesting, again, Earl, you got with these coaches that are like Joe Mark, like Keith, I would like for them to say if it's not happening there, then you should, whatever you're trying to build, let's see what you're trying to build, Keith. That's what I want to know. Have a conversation with Keith. What are you trying to do there at Rangers? And ask Joe Mark, what are you trying to do there at Somerset Eagles? And again, with Ralph, what are your plans? Are you gonna, what are your plans for the future? Do you have enough players? Do you have what are you trying to build there?
Yes, yeah. Well, before we go to commercial break, our final commercial break, update on the score at Devonshire Recreation Club. St. George's Colts have scored. The score now is 1-1. Devonshire Cougars 1, St. George's Colts 1. We'll be back with more Island Stats Football Show in a minute.
How you doing? This is Coach Pascal here. Listen, I just want to introduce, to let you know that, guess what? Oh yeah, I've been endorsing Salt. Now, you know what this is for, right? Yep. Smelly shoes. Those days that you're coming back from training, sneakers. Yep. You start, you're sitting them in your house, you got them in your room, and you got them in your closet, and you're getting that smell come through. Well, this is what it's for. Excited about it. Excited to promote because I believe in it, because I know when I was outdoors especially, this is definitely what I needed. Hey, even look at the packaging. Very, very professional company. Done on so much work. Yeah, with the material, with the bag. Listen, I'm excited about it. Glad to be a partner with them. Glad to be endorsing this product. Yeah. And here we go. Get your bag.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
Welch's, makers of the world's best-known Concord grape juice, have been based in Concord, Massachusetts since halfway through the 19th century. We've often featured this unique beverage due to its impressive health benefits and bold, unmistakable flavor. Welch's has gone on to diversify their range over the years, successfully launching many new juice-powered products designed for refreshment and flavor. With the imminent holiday season in mind, we're featuring Welch's Sparkling Grape Juices, the ideal non-alcoholic party refreshers brought to us by John Barrett and Son Limited. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
And welcome back. Well, Punchy, let's take a look at our picks from last week in the FA Cup semifinals. We all took North Village Rams to defeat Devonshire Cougars, and they did so 3-1. And we all took St. George's Colts to defeat Hamilton Parish, and they did so 5-3 in extra time. In the league play, we all took Dandy Town Hornets to defeat Crossroads, but unfortunately that match ended 1-1. And we all took PHC to defeat Paget Lions, and that match ended 1-1. We all took Hamilton Parish to defeat Somerset Trojans. That ended 3-3. We all took North Village Rams to defeat Social Club, and so North Village did so with a 5-0 victory. Currently, right now, you, Punchy, have taken a draw between St. George's and Devonshire Cougars, so you're on point for that right now as it stands. Both Cleela and myself took St. George's Colts. We all took Southampton Rangers to defeat Somerset Eagles, and that ended in a 3-3 draw. We all took Devonshire Colts to defeat Wolves, and Devonshire Colts did so in that. And we all took Robin Hood to defeat Vasco, and we all got that correct. So we only got 5 right thus far leading up until this St. George's Devonshire Cougars match. Coach Keeler moved on to 101. I'm on 99, and Punchy on 94. Now, Punchy, as we know, this coming weekend is do or die, title race on the line. But we're going to go with the first match. On Saturday, St. George's Colts host Dandy Town Hornets. You can go first.
I'm putting St. George's to be in this game.
Okay.
I think that draw just summarize what Dandy Town is about. You know, even with I'm sure he's disappointed on that result. But St. George's, you're looking at the FA Cup, like even at the school tonight.
Yeah.
Being in the finals. So that's really a bonus for them. So, that's confidence, and they're not going to want to lose that game against Dandy Town. And that's going to be a special thing for St. George's if they can beat Town. Because, Town, like I said, it's a powerhouse still in this country, recognized as a powerhouse.
Yeah.
So I'm picking St. George's to win that.
Okay. I'm because it's going to be at Wellington Oval, I'm going to take St. George's as well. They're on a high. Despite what happens tonight, I think they're still geared up and want to. Remember, players are now playing for positions to start in the FA Cup final. So it's
right.
Show up and show out sort of thing. So, and I think they'll have enough to get by Devonshire Cougars on Saturday at Wellington Oval. I'm sorry, Dandy Town Hornets. And that will be a big morale booster for them. It's been a while since they've been able to I guess beat Dandy Town twice in a season. And hopefully they can actually pull that off. That second match on Saturday, 3 p.m. at Bernard Park. It is the North Village Rams versus the PHC Zebras. I'm pretty sure if somebody's working on Saturday and can't get off, they're calling in sick, because this one here will decide who the league champions will be for sure for the season. I made mention earlier that PHC stuttered whilst in front. I'm going to take the PHC Zebras to defeat North Village 1-0 at Bernard Park, because the pressure now is on North Village at the front of the table. PHC can come in a lot freer.
Yeah, Earl, what I witnessed yesterday, I think I'm gonna go with North Village on this one, not because I'm a home supporter, of course, but I think what I saw today in terms of the commitment, they also key areas that they have, like with again, like I mentioned, with Troy Tucker and Jai Bean.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bonus. It's a lot different. It's a lot different when you look at North Village up the front now. So I think with what Norfolk are looking for, what they know they can achieve
Yes.
this week, I'm gonna go with Norfolk to beat this.
Okay.
I think Norfolk's gonna win this one. I think Norfolk's gonna win this one. So I'm picking Norfolk to beat this.
Not a problem. Okay. Next match on Sunday. Paget Lions host the Somerset Trojans at Southampton Oval. You're up.
Paget to beat this.
Okay.
I think Paget will win this here. I just think that Somerset. I don't think Somerset are up for this. I think we're looking at Somerset maybe be the team to be demoted with Crossroads. Paget will win this. What I saw from Paget yesterday, the enthusiasm.
Yes.
Like I said, they didn't play well, but they're really enthused. They put on a real good show yesterday. And what I did notice a lot, again, I think I mentioned it earlier, how even the mistakes were made, they were applauding one another. So I think Paget's going to beat Somerset next. Yeah, I'm picking Paget for that win.
Well, I think I'm going to go with Paget as well, because I know, talking to a few Paget people today, they were smarting around saying that, how is it? It feels good that Paget caused PHCD title. Wouldn't they like to talk about a second week in a row where they decided a team to go down?
That's right. That's a good point, Earl. You sure did make that right. That's a good talk for jaw talk, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
1 week we decided who's going to win the league. The next week we decided who's going down. So I'm gonna take Paget with that for that result. Social Club versus Devonshire Cougars. I'm going to take Devonshire Cougars. I mean, Cougars not much to play for now. A bit of pride. They still have quite a few players that still want to play for Pride and so forth. So I know Social Club would have to, in the back of their mind, they've got to say to themselves, we need at least a point out of this. But I just think that Devonshire Cougars have just a bit more firepower, and I think that Social Club will one more week be struggling to look over the shoulder to see where Somerset is after Devonshire Cougars defeat them next Sunday.
Now, depending on tonight's result, it depends on that. I just see Cougars to win this also. They just have enough firepower to beat Social Club. Right. But tonight's result, it means a lot in terms of just how the morale is at what's happening at Cougars,
Yeah.
I'm still going to go with Cougars to win, but, I'm going to go with Cougars with you, Earl, on that one.
Sure. And then the final Premier Division matchup next week is Hamilton Parish host Crossroads. I know Sergio would want to finish the season as strong as possible. Okay, this week, it's been a bit of disappointment this week, getting knocked out of the FA in the semifinal, then drawing with Somerset. You're still over that hump of the FA Cup, but I think another week of talking to the players, getting them together and so forth, they'll have enough firepower to get over Crossroads. But on the other hand, I mean, Crossroads are going to want to show that they still have some fight in this division. I just don't think they have enough fight against Hamilton Parish.
Yeah, considering what's happened in the last couple of weeks, it would have been great if they would have done this about a month ago.
Sure.
But yeah. That's kind of tricky. I think Crossroads, it's funny when players are listen, we are where we are.
Yeah.
Let's just play our hearts out. Let's go for this. And it's funny how it turns out.
Yeah.
I tell you what, you know what, Aaron? I think I'm gonna go with Crossroads for this one.
Crossroads, okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I mean, they continue to show up and continue to play. They played Saturday
That's
night.
Right.
So,
that's right. That's for sure.
And again, I mean, I even thought about it as well because the Sleeping Giant, once they're down and out, they have nothing else to lose.
They have nothing else to lose. That's right. Yeah. So Crossroads I'm giving Crossroads to win this one against Parish.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in the first division, on Saturday night out at the BAA Field, Boulevard Blazers entertain St. David's. Punch.
Oh, that's Boulevard.
Okay. Yeah, I'm taking Boulevard as well. And then the next first division match is Southampton Rangers versus Ireland Rangers. I'm going to take Southampton on that.
Oh, so would I, Earl. There's just, again with Keith, I think they're gonna do the best they can. And Keith will make sure that they're not gonna embarrass the Rangers with him around. So I'm gonna go with Rangers to win that. Southampton Rangers to win that.
Sure. And there's a rematch of today's match where Robin Hood play Vasco.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take Robin Hood on that, and if they actually win that, they have almost secured themselves in the Premier Division. So we'll take
I'm
Robin.
gonna Robin Hood on that one also, Earl. I don't see they're gonna let up on that. They're too close now.
Sure.
They're definitely too close for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And the final match will see Wolves entertain Somerset Eagles. Wolves have got to try and stay in the hunt. Just in the event that Robin Hood do slip up. So I'm going to take Wolves for this match.
Yep.
Because they'll have that one eye on in the event that Robin Hood do come in a bit overconfident and end up slipping up against Glasgow, who can actually show up on the day.
Yeah, I just think that, I'm with you. The Wolves to win, of course, against Somerset Eagles. But I just, again, what I said earlier in the show, I think Wolves have left this a little bit too late.
Too late.
They left this too late. Yeah. And so I don't think they even, I think Robin Hood, I'll put my money on that Robin Hood will win this game against Vasco and be promoted.
Sure. Well, Punchy, thank you very much. Next week, this time, we will know who's standing on top of the table, who's destined to win the Premier Division, who is destined to join Devonshire Colts in the Premier Division next year.
That's right.
Will the demotion race be sorted next week? Will Somerset catch Social Club, or will Social Club pull off a surprise victory over Devonshire Cougars and all but secure themselves in the Premier Division next season? But we have to wait until next week to find it all out. But we'll be here next week Sunday at
yes, right, Earl.
6:30, because the association has changed these games to 4 p.m. And we want to make sure that we get to the end of the matches, to give you a decent breakdown of what's going on. Just another update before we go. It is still 1-1 at the Devonshire Recreation Club between Devonshire Cougars and St. George's Colts. Punchy, enjoy the rest of your evening and enjoy this week.
Yes, Earl. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Take care. Enjoy your weekend and enjoy the rest of whatever's left of it, and enjoy your week also. And I'll see you next week.
Okay.
Okay.